Sorry, Aleph Aleph, correct? Or we're doing Aleph?
If you want, you can do Aleph Aleph, but we've also got Gimel Zion.
Aleph.
Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, you know what happened? I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. We may water an irrigated field during Kol HaMoed or during Shemitah, either from a spring that has just begun to flow, or from a spring that has not just begun to flow. However, we may not water irrigated fields, neither with rainwater, nor with water from a cistern, nor when we dig ditches around grapevines. Reb Elazar ben Azariah says we may not dig a new irrigation canal during Kol HaMoed or during Shemitah. We can come and say, we may dig a new irrigation canal during Shemitah and repair damaged ones during Kol HaMoed. We may repair damaged cisterns in the public domain and clear them out. We may repair roads and streets and ritual baths, provide all public needs, mark graves, and even go out to inspect the fields for forbidden mixtures of seeds during Kol HaMoed. Eliezer ben Yaakov says we may divert water from one tree to another, provided that by doing so, one does not water the entire field, and seeds that were not watered before the festival may not be watered during Kol HaMoed. The comment, however, permit watering in both these cases. Okay.
Okay, now you can go to Gimel Zion, and you can finish the Masechta.
Okay. Gimel Zion. Okay. Garments may not be rent, shoulders may not be bared, and the mourner's meal may not be served, except by relatives of the deceased. The mourner's meal is only served as a setup day. We may not bring food to the house of the mourner, neither on a tray, nor on a salver, nor a direct decorated basket, but only in plain baskets. We do not say the mourner's blessing during Kol HaMoed, but we stand in rows and offer a consolation, and then dismiss the public. We do not set down the bier in the street so that as not to encourage eulogies, and the biers of women are never set down out of respect. Women may sing dirges during Kol HaMoed, but we not clap. And Rabbi Yishmael says those near the bier may clap. On Rosh Chodesh, Chanukah, and Purim, they may sing dirges and clap on any of these days, but they may not engage in responsive wailing. Once the deceased is buried, they may neither sing dirges nor clap. What is meant by dirges? That all lament in unison. And what is meant by wailing? That one speaks and the others respond after her, as the verse states, and teach your daughters a lament, and each woman shall teach her neighbor a wailing. However, as regards the future, the verse states he will destroy death forever, and my Lord Hashem Elohim will wipe tears from upon every face, and he will remove the shame of his people from the entire earth, for Hashem has spoken. Okay. Right. I just want to check tomorrow. We're starting Moed again? I thought you said we were starting again.
Yeah, we just did this morning.
Right, I know, but I just wanted to make sure we were continuing. Okay.
So tomorrow, yeah, so tomorrow will be in Aleph Daled.
Right, okay.
Right. Okay, so now we're into Chagiga. So the background to this, is, of course, is that every one of the Shalosh Regalim, men have to come to Yerushalayim to come and check in, and there are two things that they do when they come. One is you bring an ola sre'iyah. It's a korban which is a korban ola. We come and say, I'm here I've turned up I've come to the Beis HaMikdash, and here's my ola to do it. And then what you can also have is shalmei chagiga. Those are festive offerings, which are shlamim, which are eaten by him, his family, whoever he wants to eat with him. These are shlamim, and maybe eaten just like any other shlamim. So we've got the two korbanos that people typically bring during the Moed. Okay, for Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. Shavuos, you've only got 1 day of Yom Tov, but you can bring your ola or your shlamim for 6 days after. Okay.
But you only do it once, or you can do it more than one time. Like you have the whole week
So you only bring one ola. There's only one ola Sriya. But
Shlomin?
the shlamim, the shalmei chagiga, let's just see. Mitzvah lahavi beregel od korbanos shlamim, which are it's shalmei simcha, which is it's shalmei simcha and it's shalmei chagiga. Hold on, let's just see what the difference is. Shalmei chagiga. מקובל שתחוגי, אבל קורבן חגיגה, ויש למדים מצווה שלמי חגיגה ממה שנאמר חגוסם. Okay. No, so I'm just looking in the introduction over here. It doesn't go into any great detail about how many you have to bring, or how much of a we're going to discuss in the Mishna how much you have to spend on these korbanos. Which is the chagiga, right? So you also have to. So every time the person comes, there's one korban that goes on the mizbeach and one korban that's for him and his family to eat.
Right.
So the chagiga is what he eats. Okay. Remember we saw.
And the Shlomi Simcha is that he could eat just for being by the best of Big Dutch, just being in Yerushalayim and so forth, right? And he can have every day. Every day he can have this Shlomi Simcha. Right.
Correct. Okay. Remember we had when it came to Pesachim on the first night of Pesach. There was a question of when you eat chagiga along with the korban Pesach. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that discussion of
right.
The three conditions when do you bring the chagiga along with the Pesach? First of all, it's got to be brought b'tara, because you've got a heter to eat the korban Pesach if you're tamei, if the whole am is tamei, but there's no such heter for the chagiga. Okay, so it's got to be b'tara. And it's got to be not on Motzei Shabbos, because you've got a heter to do the korban Pesach prepared on Shabbos. That's the zman, it's kavua, but you don't have a heter to do the chagiga at that on Shabbos. And the third thing is how much meat there is to go around. If there are only a few people to eat the korban Pesach, and a lot of meat, then it's the most important thing is that you have to finish the korban Pesach.
Right.
So you can't, if you start introducing chagiga into this as well, then you're going to wind up not being able to finish the Pesach. So that's the deal with the chagiga. Are you still with me, or have I? You seem to have frozen, and I'm going to move into our mobile hotspot. Come on. Okay. Sorry, that was me and my.
Okay.
Yeah, I've now tethered to my phone instead.
Okay.
So anyway, what was the last thing you heard me say?
It was about Pesach and the fact that there may not be enough people to finish the korban Pesach, and then you're not going to bring the chagiga.
We're not focusing on the Pesach aspect over here. We're going to be looking at the halachas of the re'iyah, the chagiga, and let's go in aleph aleph. Akol chayav in bere'iyah. Okay. Everyone is chayav to re'iyah. Is not talking about specifically the korban. It's about appearing in Yerushalayim, coming to Yerushalayim. Right. So everyone is chayav in re'iyah. So that sounds like a very blanket thing. And then suddenly we're going to have the shopping list of all these people who are patur from re'iyah. So I'm not sure who the hakol is coming to include as somebody we wouldn't have thought of, but anyway, who are the people who are exempt? Chutz mishecheres shotiv akatan, okay, the regular people who patur from mitzvahs. Tumtum androgynous v'nashim. Tumtum and androgynous are patur for the same reason as women are patur, because it's kol zachor. It's explicit that it's males. It's a mitzvah on the males. Okay, now
Mhm.
typically I guess the men would come with their families, but if they don't want to, they can leave the families behind. Okay, and the Tumtum and the androgynous, because they're not obviously males. Hang on, are you still there? Or have we lost? Are you there? Okay, good. You can hear me? Okay.
Back?
Are we back?
Back.
Okay. Well, all right. Okay, so because it explicitly states that that you've got that's the males are the ones who have to come.
Mhm.
Okay, so therefore, if you're not a vada male like a tumtum or an androgynous, you're also patur. Avadim she'ena meshuchrarim. So Canaanite slaves are. I'm not sure why it has to say avadim she'ena meshuchrarim, because everywhere else when we're talking about avadim we just say avadim, but basically the slaves are slaves don't have to do it. Don't have to do it. Okay. No, it's not good. Yeah.
Yeah. By the time I typed the message, you're already back.
Yeah.
Would it help if I called you?
No.
No.
What possibly would work is if we, I don't know, even if we go on WhatsApp, it's still using an internet connection, so it's not really going to help that much.
Right.
It's just kind of grin and bear it. I kind of just keep an eye on your video, and when I see that you've stopped moving, that's
I'll go like this or something.
like bobbing your head from side to side, and then I know when things have stopped.
So we have women, and the next one was slaves who have not been freed.
Right, so slaves have not been free because slaves have got the same din as women in terms of being cut from mitzvahs aseh shezman grama. Chagiga, now we're talking about somebody who's lame, because it's regalim, you've got to be able to walk. Summa is a blind person who can't see his way there. Hachole, somebody who's sick, can't make it. Hazaken, and an old person, misha eno yachol la'alos biraglav. So basically anyone who is physically incapable of making the trip to Yerushalayim, or from making it from Yerushalayim to the Har Bayis. Okay, Ezu Katan. Okay, so who is considered a Katan? Because fathers are going to want to bring their. Are you there, or are you just keeping still? Yeah. Okay, you're there. Good.
I'm there.
Okay.
Just hang in there.
Right. So fathers are
When
going.
you freeze, when you freeze on your end, can you see me moving back and forth or something?
I can see you, but your video just seizes in one spot.
Okay.
So it could just be that you're concentrating and keeping still, or it could be that it's actually frozen.
You have a lot of faith. All right. Okay, so we have the age and one who's unable to ascend by foot.
So
And then who is a minor?
Okay, so who's a minor? Kol she'enu yachol lirkov al kesefav shel aviv v'lalos b'Yerushalayim lahar bayis divrei Beis Shammai. So Beis Shammai draws a bar at a kid who's not able to ride on his father's shoulders. So that's quite a young age. Saying so anyone over that age, they're saying has to come. Beis Hillel omrim kol she'enu yachol le'echos b'yado shel aviv v'lalos b'Yerushalayim lahar bayis. So they're saying it's an older age. You need to be able to walk by yourself holding your father's hand. Okay, so Shnema Shalosh Regalim, and the limit of Shalosh Regalim is talking about everyone who's able to come. If you're not able to come on your legs, then you are then you're not then you pater from the mitzvah. So that's even the katan, the father has no obligation to do chinuch with his son if his son is not able to actually walk. Okay.
So that what the pasuk says shalosh regalim meaning foot and being able to walk. So that's how they.
That's right. So that's Hillel's limit is that it's shalosh regalim that he's got to be able to come on his reglaim.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Now, Beis Shammai omrim hara'iyah shtei kesef v'chagiga ma'a kesef. Okay, so now there's a machlokes Beis Hillel Beis Shammai how much money you need to spend as a minimum. Now, in the Torah, there's no minimum, but Chazal wanted to make sure that people spent enough money on it, and they're discussing here about what's the minimum of each. Beis Shammai hold that the re'iyah, that's the olah, the one that goes
Right.
on the mizbeach, that is the more important one. Because it's it's something that goes Kalil Hashem. The whole thing goes up on the mizbeach, and therefore that's the more important one. And therefore you should spend 2 ma'ah of kesef on that, whereas a ma'ah kesef a ma'ah of kesef is 1/6 of a dinar. Okay, and the chagiga only has to be 1 ma'ah. They reverse the position. They say that the shlamim is more important because that's something that gets shared. It's got some of it goes on his back, some of it goes to the kohanim, some of it goes to his family because it's being distributed around more recipients. Therefore, that's the more important, and you should spend more money on that.
Okay. The question. When they put this on the mizbeach, we're talking about the large mizbeach in the center, and they only put one olish re'iyah on there at a time, and then they put the shalmi on there. They both go on together. So how does that work? Or if you're there and you have your re'iyah and I have my chagiga, and then you're there already, I'm there already. Can they put mine on with yours? Are they able to do that, or is that one at a time?
The mizbeach was very big.
Right.
And yeah, it would get piled pretty high. If we imagine that every single person who's coming is bringing an olah, they're all bringing a personal olah. So that
and they have to remember
is all going onto the mizbeach, and they all get burned up over there.
I was trying to picture this in my mind, seeing like there are how many thousands of people there, and they're all bringing their meat, at a time. And it's piled up, and you have to keep. I guess you have to really keep your eye on which is yours.
You don't have to remember which is yours. You just have to be there for the shechita, and then the kohanim take care of the rest. That's not the Israel.
So when I come to get my meat on the chagiga.
Okay, but no. Don't get confused between the olah and the shlamim.
Right.
The olah goes completely on the mizbeach. That's none of my business. The shlamim, they shecht, and they take out just the emorim, just the fats, the kidneys, various parts, the various frozen. Okay, are we back? Tell me when we're back. Okay, are we back?
You stop at the important part. They just take out and then it stops.
Right, they take out the emorim, the fats that are on those back, so that they extract out in Nazara, where once the kohen has taken once they've shechted the animal and taken the blood and thrown it on the mizbeach, right, then they take take out the fats and those go onto the mizbeach, and the parts of there's some parts of the korban that go to the kohen. That is the chazeh v'shok. Wait, is it that the chazeh v'shok? I get confused between the two different gifts for the kohen. One comes from the kodshim and one comes from the chulin. There's the zroa lechayim v'keva. The zroa lechayim v'keva comes from the chulin, I think, and the chazeh v'shok is from the kodshim. So the chazeh v'shok goes to the kohen, and then the Yisrael takes everything else back home, and they can cook it up and enjoy it at home.
But he has to know that that's his chagiga, correct? I mean, I couldn't take yours.
That's his. I mean, look, there's no history in eating somebody else's chagiga. It's just that he is the baal. He owns it. So he can determine who can eat with him. But he's allowed to have guests, and he should have guests.
Right. So it doesn't take away from the mitzvah of what he's doing then. Okay. All right.
Okay.
See.
Mishna Gimel, Olos b'moed ba'os min ha'chulin. Now, when you are bringing a korban olah during the festival, you have to bring it from a chulin animal. Okay. Ushlamim min hamaser. However, you can bring shlamim from maaser sheni. Why can you bring maaser sheni? Because it's going to be eaten, and actually maaser sheni is meant to be spent on meat that goes on the mizbeach. That actually Chazal encouraged people to purchase animals and have them as shlamim in Yerushalayim. So in this case as well, you're allowed to bring the maaser sheni for shlamim, but you can't use maaser sheni for something that's not going to be eaten. Therefore, you can't spend your maaser sheni money on an ola, right? Because the ola gets completely on the mizbeach, so that's not a valid use of maaser. Yom Tov Harishon Shel Pesach. Okay, first day Yom Tov of Pesach. Beis Shammai Omrim Mina Chulin, or Beis Hillel Omrim Mina Maaser. So what are we talking about in the first day of Pesach? Right, the Shalmei Chagiga, which you bring on the first Yom Tov of Pesach, right? Which we mentioned a little earlier. If you're bringing it with the Korban Pesach. So Beis Shammai say this has to come from chulin. Since it's a korban chova that a person has to bring. Beis Hillel and Beis Hillel say it's fine. You can use maaser sheni money for this. Okay. What's the intention of Beis Hillel? The Gemara explains that you're allowed to mix maaser sheni money in with the tzaref maaser sheni for this two ma of kesef that you're going to spend. Oh, sorry, you're allowed to mix this maaser sheni money to 2 maas of kesef of chulin, and add to that and buy a nice bigger animal. So they still say that you need to spend chulin money, but the minimum amount of chulin money you need to spend is 2 ma. Right, we saw that in the previous Mishna. So you've got a certain minimum that you have to spend, but you're allowed to add maaser sheni money so that you get a bigger animal. Okay. Okay, but for the olas re'iyah, you can't use maaser sheni money, of course, because the whole thing is being burned, and maaser sheni has to be eaten. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Rosh Hashanah, Beis Daled.
Beis Daled, right?
Yeah.
I think you said Aleph. Okay. And from where did they light the torches? From the Mount of Olive to Sarteva, from Sarteva to Krufina, from Krufina to Chavran, from Chavran to Beit Biltin. From Beit Biltin, they did not move, but the signaler would wave the torch back and forth, up and down, until he saw the entire diaspora before him like a mass of fire. There was a large courtyard in Yerushalayim, which was called Beis Ya'atzek, and there all the witnesses gathered, and the Beis Din interrogated them there and made them large feasts in order that they be accustomed to come. Originally, they did not move from there all day. Then Rabbi Gamil, the elder, enacted that they should be permitted to walk 2,000 amos in every direction. And not only these witnesses, but also a midwife who comes to aid a delivery, and one who comes to rescue people from a fire, or from an attacking army, or from a flooding river, or from a fallen building. They are considered like the people of the city, and they have the right to walk 2,000 amos in every direction. How do they interrogate the witnesses? The pair that arrives first is interrogated first, and the elder is brought in, and they say to him, "Tell how you saw the moon, facing the sun or away from the sun, to the north or to its south. How high was it, and which way was it leaning, and how wide was it?" If he said facing the sun, he had said nothing. They would have had the second witness brought in. Then they would have the second witness brought in and interrogate him. If their words are found to coincide, the testimony is valid. If they ask the rest of the pairs of witnesses, only the main points, not that they needed them, but also that they should not leave disappointed, in order that they should be accustomed to come.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Psachim Heiches.
Like its procedure on weekdays, so it was procedure on Shabbos, except that the Kohanim rinsed the temple courtyard without the consent of the sages. Rabbi Yehuda said he would fill a cup with mixed blood and throw it once upon the altar, but the Chachamim did not agree with him. How did they suspend and flay them? From hooks were fixed into the walls and into the pillars on which they suspended and flayed the Pesach. Anyone for whom there was no room to suspend and flay his animal, there were thin, smooth staves there, and he placed upon his shoulder and upon the shoulder of his fellow, and so hung and flayed it. Reb Eliezer says, if the 14th fell on the Shabbos, he placed his hand on his fellow's shoulder, and the hand of his fellow rested upon his shoulder, and thus he suspended and flayed. He tore it open and removed the sacrificial parts, put them on a plate, and burned them upon the altar. The first group went out and remained on the Temple Mount, the second group in the Kale, and the third group remained where they were. And after dark, they went out and roasted their Pesach offerings. Okay. You have to really trust your fellow when you have your hand on his shoulder and you're ready to flay, I guess.
Okay. Kilayim, hey David.
Okay, we have Kalayim. A vine planted on a wine press or in a cleft. If granted its tillage base, and one may sow the rest. Rabbi Yossi says that there are not 4 amet, one may not bring seeds there, and one may sow in a house located in a vineyard. If one plants vegetables or retains them in a vineyard, he renders forbidden 45 vines. When? If they're planted 4 or 5 apart, and if they are planted 6 or 7 apart, he renders forbidden 16 amets in every direction in a circle, not in a square. If one sets vegetables in the vineyard and declares, I will pluck it when I get to it, it is permitted. I will pluck it when I return. If it increased by 200th, it is forbidden.
Okay, so we judge the kilayim from the moment when he notices it. Okay, if he's on his way there and he just hasn't had a chance to get there, then that's fine. We don't penalize him for that. But if he passed it already and said, I don't have time right now, I'll come back to it, then you measure how much it grows. If it grows by 1/200th, then 1/200th is the sheer bittul for kilayim. Right. If it's increased by 1/200th, then it's more than the sheer bittul, and it's not and the whole thing becomes asur. Okay.
Okay. Yud Zayin Gimel. The measure of bread baskets to lose their tumah is a hole the size of loaves of bread. Concerning apifaros, baskets, if one made reeds for them from their bottom to the top for support, they're tahor. If one made a rim of any kind for it, it is susceptible to becoming tumah. Reb Shimon says if it cannot be lifted up by its rim, it is not susceptible to tumah. The pomegranates of which the rabbi spoke are 3 attached to one another. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says concerning a sift or a sieve, a hole through which a pomegranate would fall when one takes it and extends it, and concerning a basket, a hole through which a pomegranate would fall when one stings it behind him. Concerning all other utensils that cannot hold pomegranates, such as a quarter kav measure, a half of a quarter kav measure, and small sifters, the measure to lose their tumah is when the greater part of them is perforated. These are the words of Reb Meir. Reb Shimon says the size of olives. If they were broken, the measure to lose their tumah is a hole the size of an olive. If they were worn away, the measure to lose their tumah is any amount. The pomegranate of which the rabbi spoke is neither small nor large, but of medium size. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says they were mentioned in regard to measuring with them holes and utensils. Rabbi Akiva says it was mentioned for this and for that, to measure with them holes and utensils, and that a forbidden pomegranate of badin prohibits an entire mixture in any amount. Rabbi Yossi says the pomegranates of badin and the leeks of gava were not mentioned except in regard that they should be tied as certain maisa everywhere.
Sanhedrin. Zayin Vav.
Or says to it, you are my God. However, one who embraces, kisses, sweeps, sprinkles, washes, anoints clothes, or shoes, it transgresses a negative commandment. One who vows in its name or upholds it in its name transgresses a negative commandment. Defecating to Baal Peor, that is its service. Throwing a stone at Marcolis, that this is its service. One who gives of his children to Molech is not liable unless he hands him over to Molech and passes him through the fire. If he hands him over to Molech, oh, one who curses his father or mother is not liable unless he curses them with the name of Hashem. If he curses them with a secondary name, Mermea holds him liable, but they can come and acquit him. Okay. Good.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Terrific. Tomorrow is Tuesday, so we don't have Shir on Wednesday, but Tuesday we have Shir. Okay. And Thursday, I assume maybe Thursday we'll have Shir.
Back, yeah. That's Hashem.
Okay. Okay. Have a great day. Enjoy your parents. Enjoy everybody. Have a great day. Thanks.